And we're back, guys. The main event, UFC 284. Volkanovski, the hometown favorite, taking on Islam Makhachev. Now, listen, guys. Just because you're the hometown favorite doesn't mean you're the actual favorite. Islam is a 4-1 favorite to win this bout. Now, listen, guys. There's a difference between 145 and lightweight. Yes, there's a big difference. Not only 10 pounds, but listen, me personally being a former boxer, there's weight classes for a reason. And that number one reason is strength. Now, we can clearly see the height and reach advantage Islam has, but what about strength? That's the big difference. Me personally, I would say if Volkanovski felt comfortable at 155, he would probably be there now already, right? But then again, not necessarily, because if he's mentally tough, which he is, he's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. I think he's a problem. He's a beast. I think maybe not, but if he's mentally tough enough to make 145, which he's shown he is, a lot of times fighters want that edge, right? If you can get that edge and drop down to a lower weight class and dominate, then they'll do that. But nonetheless, 145 is the last division that features female and male champions. 155 is known as the deepest and toughest division in the UFC. And the reality here is, can he pull off champ? The problem here is he is the shorter fighter, and he needs to close the distance against the longer, rangier fighter, and of course, the better wrestler. Now, this is a question for any UFC expert, wrestling fans. Me, from a boxing perspective, I know if you're good enough to win the Golden Gloves Nationals, then the next step is the Olympics, meaning you have the talent to make the Olympic team. Now, the reason I say that is Islam made a joke about Volkanovski not being an Olympic tier wrestler. However, he was a national champion. So can someone answer that question? In wrestling, if you win the nationals, I mean, I would imagine you have to be just as good to make the Olympic team. Answer that question, please. What happened there? Do you think he's that good? Now, we know in the UFC, look, his stand-up game's a beast. You know, you take someone like Justin Gaethje, who, again, a good wrestler, but doesn't use it, right? A lot of the good strikers don't use their wrestling. But nonetheless, guys, first round, Volkanovski would rock Islam. That's right, but he's got to be disciplined and careful, because he would end up getting rocked again and then trying to close the distance. Talk about stress on the job. That's the problem he has to figure out and answer. How can he close the distance and be effective and avoid takedowns? He could not avoid the takedown in round one. And look, after getting rocked, they both exchanged a rocking. The takedown gives Islam the first round. Now listen, guys. What is Volkanovski going to do? I would love for him to win this bout. I think he's being disrespected, but he's clearly the smaller man in this bout, and that's where he rocked Islam there, but he got a little sloppy and got caught with the left here coming in. So he's got to be disciplined. The crowd kind of got him hyped up a little bit, and he took it on the chin. But listen, guys, Islam, he's controlling on the ground with the takedowns. He's just too strong, and we are seeing a big difference in the wrestling quality here. Stay tuned, guys. Round two coming up.